Well, hi, brothers and sisters. Hello, friends. Hello, church. This is Anthony here, and it's episode 3 of this current series that I'm calling Icons. If I raise my voice at any point, it's because I can hear the buzz of those cars moving by, and I can hear the large ones about to rumble and make noise. But I come to you outside. The first 2 episodes of this series were done inside, where those personal icons of mine usually sit. But I thought, hey, it is so very beautiful today. I said, let's get outside and we'll bring our third icon with us. Now, what is an icon? An icon is something that is physical. It's something that we can touch and see and feel. And yet it carries with it a spiritual dimension. It is a pathway and a portal to something more than that physical item. It has a physicality to it, yes. It exists in this world with us, but yet when we gaze upon it, when we see it, when we pick it up, we feel more than just meets the eye. All right, and so that's an icon. And so I bring that to you today and throughout this series to encourage you to find the things that are around you, the gifts, the items that you can draw strength from. As we all know, we are in the midst of this crisis. We are locked in our homes, right, for the majority of our time. And so seek those things that are around you that can give you strength. We do this today, this episode 3, we do it at the beginning of this Holy Week, and it will be a Holy Week like no other. If you read the news, you'll know that the forecast says that this week and the week to come may very likely be some of the most difficult weeks that we will encounter and endure in the midst of this COVID-19, this coronavirus crisis. And so I offer you my words, my prayers, whatever I can, and I encourage you to remain diligent and to remain faithful in this difficult time. Now, many of us may be tuning into the news more or less, and what I say about that is that if it is an encouragement to you, because for some of us, we just need some information, and information helps put us at ease, no matter what that information is. For others, that information can lead to a sense of anxiety and fear that can become unhealthy. So we have to balance that out. If the news that you hear puts you at ease to some degree, great. If the news that you hear makes you more cautious and diligent, I say good. If it makes you anxious and fearful, then perhaps you need to find other outlets and other avenues. The outlet and the avenue that I share with you today is the icon. And so again, I encourage you to look around your home and to find those things that bring you strength. For me, today, it is this statue of St. Anthony of Padua. He was a Franciscan, and he sits, of course, within the Catholic tradition, which I grew up in. And this particular piece was a gift from my good friend Linda Santoro, and it was given to me in large part so that Linda and I, can connect to Linda's mom, Julie, who's no longer with us, but who was also a dear friend, someone that I visited on a regular basis when I was engaged in congregational care at Trinity. And Julie was one of my most favorite visits. Can I say that? She was a woman of Italian descent, and she told you where it was, right? She was real. Right? You were not getting a story with Julie. You were getting her story and the story that she felt within her. She was real and she was honest. And I appreciated that so much about her. She reminded me so very much of my own grandmother, my nanny, who came from Italy and had the same sense of honesty, the same spunk, the same grit, and the same faith. And so when I received this gift and I place it by my bedside, that's where it sits every day, and I see it, it reminded me, of course, of my grandmother. It reminded me of my parents, who named me Anthony, who in part took that tradition or that inspiration by this patron saint, Anthony, and they named me. It reminds me of Julie, of course. It reminds me of my grandmother. It reminds me of Linda. It reminds me of goodness, of honesty, of love, and of course of God. It is truly an icon that rests and sits with me each and every day. Now, a word about saints. Now, we in our Methodist tradition, our Protestant tradition, we don't raise up saints in the same way. We don't canonize people in that same way. But there's still very much that we can learn from that process and learn from our brothers and sisters in the Catholic tradition. We may not see saints in the exact same way, but every one of us understand that we are here today because of our ancestors, because of all of those who walked this path before us. Our faith is not just our own. Our faith is the faith of our fathers and our mothers, of all those that came before us. And there are particular people in our lives and in our history and our tradition that have set the kind of example that gives us strength, it gives us knowledge, it gives us wisdom, it gives us a path that we can walk on in difficult times particularly. And so that's what a saint is. That's what our ancestors do. And I think we can all at some level appreciate that. And so, brothers and sisters, I invite you today on this day to continue to search and seek out in your place those things that give you your strength. And particularly, if you can find today something that was given to you that you can draw strength from, given to you by someone who may be with us or may have passed, an ancestor, if you will, someone that has walked the path of faith, and that their example would give you strength on this day, in this week, and in the days to come. I hope I can get an amen from you. I hope you're all doing well, and I look forward to seeing you again in our next episode and throughout this holy week. Remain true, remain faithful, and may God's blessing be upon you. Amen and amen.